In July 2025, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, and the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, introduced several sweeping changes that significantly impact immigrants, especially those on temporary protected status, employment authorization, and various visa pathways. These updates require immediate attention and action from affected individuals, as they alter compliance requirements, eligibility status, and communication protocols. Here is a comprehensive breakdown of these changes. Before starting, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. Termination of Temporary Protected Status, TPS. For several countries, in one of the most significant changes, DHS officially ended TPS designations for Nicaragua, Honduras, and Haiti. This decision affects tens of thousands of immigrants who have legally resided in the United States for decades under TPS protection. For Nicaragua, TPS officially expired on July 5, 2025. The U.S. government determined that conditions in Nicaragua no longer support the need for TPS. This move ended decades of protection for thousands of Nicaraguans. Beneficiaries of this program must either adjust their immigration status, find another legal pathway to remain in the U.S., or depart the country voluntarily to avoid removal proceedings. Honduras followed closely behind, with its TPS designation set to terminate on September 8, 2025. While the announcement was made in early July, Honduran nationals were given a limited grace period. Employment authorization documents, EADs, tied to TPS were automatically extended through the deadline. After that, work authorization ends, and so does protection from deportation unless the individuals have another pending or approved status. Haiti's TPS designation will officially end on August 3, 2025, with a mandatory departure date by September 2, 2025. This affects a large Haitian community, particularly concentrated in Florida and the northeastern U.S. Like others, Haitians under TPS must act quickly to adjust their status or prepare for departure. For all three groups, the DHS emphasized that TPS is not a permanent immigration solution. These terminations are based on the assessment that the originating countries no longer meet the extreme conditions necessary to justify ongoing TPS protections. New USCIS text notification number. As of July 1, 2025, USCIS stopped sending text messages from the previously used number 468,311. The new number for official USCIS text messages is now 872,466, which displays as USAIMM on mobile devices. This change was made to enhance communication security and ensure authenticity. The update helps reduce confusion and the risk of phishing scams, which had become increasingly common with the previous number. Immigrants, visa applicants, and petitioners are advised to update their contact lists and remain vigilant when receiving messages, ensuring they only respond to communications from the new verified number. Failure to recognize messages from USCIS could result in missed updates about application statuses, appointments, or deadlines. Strict enforcement on form additions. USCIS has begun enforcing the use of current form additions much more strictly starting in July 2025. Forms that are not submitted using the latest edition date will now be automatically rejected, even if they are complete and accurate. Key forms affected by this policy include I-693, Medical Examination and Vaccination Record, I-765, Application for Employment Authorization, I-821, TPS Application, I-821D, Consideration of Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, I-90, Application to Replace Permanent Resident Card, N-600, Application for Certificate of Citizenship, N-565, Application for Replacement Naturalization, Citizenship Document. The mandatory edition date across most forms is now January 20, 2025. Forms submitted with earlier edition dates will be returned, causing delays or potential lapses in legal status. USCIS advises applicants to always download forms directly from its website and verify the edition date printed on the bottom of each form. This policy aims to ensure applicants are using the most updated instructions and comply with current eligibility criteria and processing methods. Increased enforcement on visa overstays. DHS has shifted immigration enforcement focus toward individuals who legally entered the U.S. but have overstayed their visas. Rather than focusing solely on undocumented border crossers, immigration officials are now instructed to identify and pursue individuals whose I-94 entry records have expired without a status change or This change in enforcement strategy stems from concerns over visa fraud and compliance gaps in the legal entry process. With technological upgrades and better data sharing between USCIS and Customs and Border Protection, CBP, overstays can now be flagged quickly. Foreign nationals are encouraged to regularly check their I-94 expiration dates, apply for status extensions or changes before their current status expires, avoid any unlawful presence that could trigger bars to re-entry or removal proceedings. This enforcement policy particularly affects students, tourists, and temporary workers. Employers and schools may also face inquiries if they are found sponsoring individuals with lapsed legal status. E-Verify monitoring upgrades in tandem with TPS terminations and increased enforcement on overstays. E-Verify has introduced new features that allow employers to monitor changes in employee immigration status. The new status change reports tool alerts employers if their employee's work authorization is revoked, expired, or altered. This upgrade enables real-time verification of employment eligibility, making it harder for individuals with expiring documents to remain undetected. Employers who ignore these updates risk fines, audits, and liability for employing unauthorized workers. For workers, this means their immigration status is now more closely tied to their employment. Any changes in EAD status or legal presence may immediately affect their ability to remain employed. Confidentiality changes for VAWA and T-visa applicants. Another quiet but impactful update concerns the termination of confidentiality protections under Section 1367 of the U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act. This change primarily affects applicants under Violence Against Women Act, VAWA, U visas, for crime victims, T visas, for trafficking victims. Once individuals naturalize and become U.S. citizens, they no longer benefit from these strict confidentiality safeguards. This means that, post-naturalization, their personal data may be accessed under broader FOIA or law enforcement queries. While this is not retroactive and does not apply to current non-citizen beneficiaries, it is critical for new citizens to understand how their protected status evolves. Upcoming social media disclosure rule, under review. While not yet enacted, a proposed policy is currently under review that may require all immigration applicants to disclose their social media handles as part of background checks. This proposal would impact applicants for asylum, naturalization, employment-based visas, and permanent residency. The rule aims to detect threats to national security, fraud, or misrepresentation. However, immigration advocates have raised concerns about privacy violations, discrimination, and freedom of speech issues. If finalized, this policy would require full transparency regarding social media history, usernames, and possibly archived posts. Immigrants and applicants are advised to monitor this proposal's status and prepare to comply if it becomes official policy. Practical action steps for immigrants. Given the scale of changes in July 2025, immigrants must take the following actions. TPS recipients. If you're from Nicaragua, Honduras, or Haiti, check your EAD expiration, seek legal counsel, and explore alternate status options. You must act before the September deadlines. Form submissions. Always use the latest form editions. Download directly from USCIS and verify the bottom edition date before filing. Overstay risk. If your visa or authorized stay is near expiration, file an extension or change of status before it lapses. Overstays can lead to bans or deportation. USCIS communications. Save the new USCIS text number, 872,466, USAIMM, and disregard messages from older sources. Employment verification. If you're on a work visa or TPS-based EAD, coordinate with your employer to ensure your documentation remains valid in light of the new E-Verify enhancements. Citizenship implications. If you're a recent citizen who applied under VAWA, U, or T visas, understand how the end of confidentiality protections may affect your privacy. Stay informed. Continue to monitor USCIS announcements for the latest policies, particularly surrounding the pending social media rule. This is it for today's video. What do you think of our video? Comment below with your thoughts and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. Thanks for